Alright, I'm Peter from AutoPlanet, and we're going to go on a test drive. So, I just want to keep this simple, but we're going to be driving a 2021 Toyota RAV4. This is the Gen 5, and I don't want to go over the specifics of this vehicle, but instead I'd rather just talk about this car in general. We're just going to go for a drive and see what we think of this car, and I'll just talk about the experience, because I find test driving a car is the only way to really know if it's going to fit you or not. It's gonna, if you like it, you have to connect with it. So let's just take it for a test drive and see what we can do. So my initial thoughts on this car is, this one is a base model, but it's very nice. I like it. It's very comfortable. Everything seems to be in the right place so far. Gonna get outside in just a second here. All right. Okay. So this car is, like I said, it's a base model Toyota RAV4. It's very comfortable. I like these seats, and I do like all the controls in this car. They're very simple, but they're very easy to adjust. Everything's very tactile. It's not full of virtual buttons on the screen. So I do like that. The air conditioning system and your main functions with your seat heaters and so on. They're all easy to get to. They're very clearly labeled, and they're actual physical buttons. And I think there's a benefit to tactile buttons. You can feel them while you're driving. If you ever come down to AutoPlanet, this is pretty much the route you're going to take when doing a test drive. Hopefully you come down and do a test drive for yourself. Yeah, this Toyota drives pretty much as you would expect. It's feels nimble, very smooth, and have a great view all around. There's not really a blind spot in this car. Like I said, it's very comfortable and it's quiet. So this is a kind of car that you would have with your family. You can throw everybody in here. You can throw your junk in the back. You can throw your dog in here. You can use it as a commuter car. You can use it as a getaway car on weekends, go on camping trips. I have the air conditioning on right now. It's nice and cool. And there's these great big buttons on here on each side. They're really about 2.5 inches wide. Maybe 2 inches wide, with a nice rubber coating on it. It's easy to get your hand on there and give it a turn to increase the fan speed or adjust the temperature. Those are your two main functions on here, and it's very easy to use. I think when we get out of town here a little bit, I'll change it over to sport mode and we'll see if we can do something a little more exciting. So I can see clear out of everywhere in this car. Like I said, there's virtually no blind spots in here. It's a good ride height. I feel like I get a good view of my surroundings. I don't feel like I'm lost behind anybody, or I can see ahead of me and I can clearly see behind me. And again, very, very smooth, very comfortable ride. This is a very simple radio. This is, like I said, this is a base model version of this car, so everything's very simplified in here, but functional. And the quality of some of this material in here, the dashboard, it's very nice. It's got some stitching in here. It's kind of like a rubbery kind of material. It looks nice, and the stitching is a nice touch. And there's some kind of layers in here. It looks very good. It doesn't look or feel cheap at all. It's very nice. I'm going to change the drive mode and we'll see if it feels any different here. So let's go into sport mode. Okay, when you change into sport mode, it's kind of hard to see it during the day, but the little information panel in the dashboard, it changes to a red kind of glow. So that little screen looks more aggressive now. So I'm assuming we're going to have different shift points in the car now. So when we go from this light, let's see if it feels a little different. So yeah, test driving a vehicle is so important when buying a car. You can put as much information as you want online, but sometimes you just have to drive the car to see if you really like it. Some people say the car will pick you, you don't pick the car, and I feel that's kind of true. You might come into the showroom looking for a specific car, but after you test drive that car and you compare it against another car that you test drove the same day, you might realize that you are going to be leaving with a different car than you thought you were going to be leaving with. So yeah, test drive a car, test drive as many as you can, compare, contrast. You want to make sure that you get the best vehicle for you, and there are so many options out there. Do not limit yourself, try everything, and you'll be much happier with your purchase. So again, the Toyota RAV4 is kind of an all-purpose car. It's definitely one of the mid-sized, smaller SUVs, but it has a lot of space in it. It handles really well. It's not a race car by any means, but it gets the job done. I guess the other cars that you would be comparing this against would be the Volkswagen Tiguan, Hyundai Tucson, the Ford Escape, those types of cars. So if you're going to go this route with a smaller SUV, definitely test drive those cars as well, so you can compare them. Each car is going to have pros and cons, but depending on what you want, one of those cars will be the better fit for you. And we carry all of those vehicles at AutoPlanet, and you can compare those against each other all in one place. Like, I'm actually surprised that I like this car as much as I do. It's just so comfortable. It just feels right. I don't feel like there's anything really weird about this car that's bothering me. Everything seems to be in the right place. I feel this is a perfect car for the family. I think this works as a commuter car, and I think this is a great weekend warrior car where you might do some easy trails or some camping and try and get off the grid. This vehicle really does it all. It's a Toyota, you know it has the reliability, it's going to have a solid engine, and I think you will really, really enjoy the Toyota RAV4. So yeah, this car does have seat warmers as well. We have a 12-volt power supply here and a USB input for the radio, all in the lower portion of the console, and a nice big area where you can put your phone and easily charge it. So everything's well laid out and it's well thought out in this car. And like I said, the quality of the door panels and the dash materials and the steering wheel, even the gear shifter, everything seems very high quality in this car. It just feels really nice and it looks really, really good. It's very sharp design. I think Toyota's done a great job in this Gen 5 RAV4. This car does have a manual mode where you can bump shift up and down, so you can feel that you're doing more with the car. Most people don't use that, but it's nice to have. You never know. But you just push it to the left and then you can bump shift through the gears. I've been driving over a lot of bumps and potholes in the road, and it's been fine, no issues whatsoever, just a little wiggle in the car. Very comfortable. Okay, we're almost back at AutoPlanet. We're just gonna go down Chrysler Drive, bring the car back inside the dealership and put it away, and then someone else can take it out for a test drive. So yeah, like I mentioned before, this car does have different drive modes on it. It does have the normal mode, and then everything's compared to that. It has a sport mode, it has a mud and sand mode, it has a rock and dirt mode, it has an eco mode, and a snow mode. We got some traffic coming in here. We're almost back inside. Get the glasses off. So there you go. That's a test drive in a 2021 Toyota RAV4. We have a bunch of different RAV4s in our showrooms. I definitely would suggest you come down, do some test drives, test drive the RAV4, and test drive some of the other vehicles like it. It's the best way to get a feel if it's the right car for you, And like I said, many times people think the car chooses you. All right, so anyway, I'm Peter for AutoPlanet. Please come on down, test drive some cars. And if you have any questions, please talk to one of our sales representatives and they will be happy to help you.